right? Um, so I think we went over this the other day in one of the other videos, but I'm just going to go over some of the basics here, which is that, right, it's 250 words. Here's the due date, right? You're writing an analysis of a still or stationary advertisement. So this can be any advertisement as long as it's like intended to be print or intended to be like still or stationary, like on the screen or something like that. And it can even be like an advertisement from um, like I don't know, from like a cereal box or something. It doesn't have to be anything in if it is stationary and it is like a picture type of advertisement, you can use it. Um, so your task is not to disagree or agree with the ad, right? But to analyze it about whether or not it's effective for the specific genre of advertisement that it is, right? So like I give you guys an example of like a print ad in GQ magazine that's saying that like product X is gonna reverse aging. Like it doesn't matter to you at all about whether or not product X actually does that. Okay, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is figure out like if that ad is successful or effective at convincing people that the product does what it's supposed to do. Okay, even if even if nothing can reverse aging, right? That doesn't matter. What matters is like, is this an effective ad? Right? And so what I want you to pay close attention to is think about like that ad itself as part of a larger genre um, of 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 texts, right? So like um, ads for cologne have like certain things about them. Ads for high-heeled shoes have certain things about them. They all have like specific sorts of traits that will show up, right? And I want you to kind of like analyze those traits. Think about colors, think about the font that they're using, think about um, the different sorts of designs that are embedded, the shapes, like mood, shading, stuff like that. Like think about it um, almost like you're doing like an art critique, right? But instead of thinking like, oh, does this a beautiful picture? Think, is this telling me like who this ad is for and what it's selling, and does it convince me that I actually need to buy this or believe this thing, right? So we have here, I give you guys some examples, whereas like products for women usually feature, right, they'll have pink, they'll have lots of pastels, they'll have like flowers, high-heeled shoes, lipstick. Oftentimes now there'll be like glittery stuff or like rhinestones in the background, right? We have like very clear cues like, okay, this ad is for this group of people. Um, and even without ever saying what the ad is for, you'll probably be like, okay, this is not an ad for dudes, right? And it like doesn't matter because like some dudes like pink, some dudes like pastel colors, um, some people like all kinds of things that aren't like coded for their gender or whatever in terms of like Western society, but we still can see that ad and we know like, okay, they're targeting this specific demographic, right? Um, so like ads targeting men, they'll have logos, right? That are like that look like metal or look like rust or look like stone. They look like hard, like manly things. And they'll have like rugged outdoor areas a lot of the time rather than like so the same product for a woman would be featured in like a meadow and there'd be like wildflowers and like a creek or something. And then, like the male variant of that would be like a really rugged outdoor area with like a cliff face or something scary, right? And again, um, there's no scientific evidence that these things actually correlate with gender at all, much less like feminine gender versus masculine gender. But um, advertisers have figured out how to tell viewers exactly who they're targeting, how to say like, hey, this is for you. And it doesn't matter if like it doesn't matter, if reliably any of these things actually have anything to do with like gender identity. It's like it's more of a communication thing now. It's more of like a social contract. So so look at that. Okay. Pay attention to what they're doing. Try to figure out how is this ad telling its intended audience, hey, I'm talking to you. You are my audience, right? Um, okay. So, and then here's some like grading criteria, right? Try to have a strong title, have a solid introduction, basic stuff. when it says writer introduces and explains the rhetorical concepts in relation to the subject, um, that basically means that, and we're going to go more into rhetorical concepts. I'm going to put another video in right after this that explains rhetorical concepts, but basically I just want to have an idea that you understand as you're doing this analysis, right? What is the rhetorical situation, right? What is the audience for this ad? What is the purpose, right? And like what is the angle? Okay, and again, I'm going to post another video right after this that'll go into rhetorical situation a little bit more deeply. But as long as you have a very firm understanding of the audience and the purpose, right? And angle is important too. You're good to go. But you don't have to say like the audience is this and the angle is this. Like this is your first major like writing assignment for this class, and so I'm not like gonna be grading really hard or like counting off a lot. Take a look at the other video if you have questions about the rhetorical situation stuff, which everyone always does. Then send me an email or a message. But like, don't be afraid to write this paper because you don't understand rhetorical concepts yet. Okay, that's something we're working on over the whole semester. Yeah. Okay, writer explains the historical context and provides a summary for the text. So that means like if you were using an ad from 1968, you better tell me. See, this ad is from 1968, and this is where it appeared. It appeared in this specific magazine that was meant for, right, like working class women, right? So try to have an idea of where your ad came from, and then summarize the text, right? Say like a summary is basically like, this is an ad featuring a killer rabbit that was trying to get people to stop eating meat in the early 1990s when, you know, veganism first started becoming a main attraction in like Western US society, right? Like try to say like, what is the context of the ad? Right? Like, yeah, I think you guys get it. So if you don't get it, send me a message. So your analysis is logically and clearly organized, right? Try to keep one idea per paragraph. Don't cram too much stuff together too much. You introduce and explain rhetorical concepts. Again, watch the other video for that. And don't freak out if you're confused about that. Like if you just don't understand rhetorical concepts yet, skip them. Okay, we're gonna get through that as the semester goes on. And pretty much if there's anything seriously missing from your essay, I'll basically just ask you to revise it and say, okay, hey, add this and this and this, and we're good. So you are not going to get a 0 or an F if you turn in the assignment. Okay, you're probably going to get an A, or worst case scenario, you'll get me asking for revisions and then you'll get an A. Okay. So, and then, yeah, like read. But it really helps to just read your writing back to yourself aloud. It's really awkward. It's very awkward. But it helps you get free of like awkward sentences and fragments and run-ons. And you can actually hear it better than you can see it a lot of the time. Okay, and like as a PhD student, I still do this myself because it helps. So that is the handout. Where are we at? Time-wise, I don't know where we're at time-wise. Okay. Okay, oops. If I can use my computer, it'd be great. Here's the link to best ads, right? And I don't know if these are the best ads or not. They're pretty good. Some of them are pretty cool. Right, like here's one that like multiple students have written about in the past because they really liked the the opportunity to write about the F-bomb, basically. So what you would write about in this, right, is like the coloring, right? Why are they using these specific colors? And that's like part of that is branding, right? Because KFC has the red and white, basically. You have the crumbs in the background, you have the empty bucket, right? You can talk about the lettering here, you can talk about the logo, read all of this, and analyze what's being said here. And that's what you're doing, basically, and talking about what kind of mood is this creating, and like what kind of like images and ideas does this draw, right? And what about this is different from other ads, right? Like we rarely see people referencing the word fuck in advertisements. And so them doing that was a pretty like interesting and eye-catching and kind of like imagination-catching move. Um, There's another one. Um, right, this one, I kind of hate it. Right, so this whole, they have this like really creepy little like mouth thing on here, and you would have to go through explaining like why are the colors, what is, why do they have these specific colors in the background? Why is like mostly gray, white, and black? What kind of mood does that set? Right? How does that draw attention to or away from this like creepy mouth thing? What are they trying to get across? Are they using humor, right, as a device in this?